Hey guys, what's good? Triple J Boxing. What a fight, guys. And I must say, I know my boxing because go back to my prediction video on Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. I said it was going to be a close, tough fight, and I said that it was going to go decision. I just couldn't see either guy getting knocked out. And I said that Terence Crawford was going to win, though, a little bit more rounds and clearly. Like, he was going to be the clear winner by a couple rounds, but it was going to be maybe even draw worthy or rematch worthy, which it was. Now, this is exactly how I thought the fight was going to uh, play out. Um, Now the key thing here I would say is both guys were at such a high level. Like, this is the highest level of boxing, guys. And you have to give credit to both guys because I know there's going to be a lot of Crawford haters saying, "Oh, he's not ready for Canelo. Look at him." You don't understand though. Madrimov is no joke. Go and watch his previous fight, guys. Go look at his amateur background. Over 300 fights. This guy's no joke. Like, look at Lomachenko. He had a title shot right at, I think, what was it, his third fight. Like, these guys aren't a joke. They have tremendous amateur background experience, and not just experience. They're successful at the highest level. Like, Madrimov won like gold medals, silver medals at the Asian Games. He didn't just have a lot of fights. He won, I think, over 300 fights or something. It was crazy. Um, but yeah, guys. Crawford, he took away the jab of Madrimov pretty much almost completely. He couldn't take away the left hook though. And then I would say Madrimov took away Crawford's ability to land a lot of combinations and land like kind of push the moment, like when like he didn't let Crawford gain momentum, which usually happens in a Crawford fight. Usually he studies you, he calculates what to do, and then as the mid fight comes around, the middle rounds, Crawford starts to get more aggressive and break you down and land more combinations and get really push the action and get aggressive with you. He could not do that against Madrimov. Um, but yeah, I think the one thing that, if I was gonna say the one thing that surprised me, is he took away the Madrimov jab really good. Especially, I think that's why he fought in the southpaw um, stance the whole fight, which I thought was smart. I know Sean Porter was saying, "Oh, why did he do that? He would have had more success if he went orthodox." And I disagree with Sean Porter, just because I think if he did that, Madrimov's jab is so good, and the jab to the body, the stab jab, and the jab to the head would have been a problem. And that's not even it, because I know post-fight thoughts, Sean Porter was saying, "Oh, I would rather get hit with a jab to the body than a right hand to the head like Crawford was getting." Which, okay, I understand in that instance what Sean Porter is saying, but Crawford forgot to mention the fact that the jab sets up everything. The jab sets up other punches. The jab sets up combinations. The jab sets up distance well. And Madrimov couldn't do that. Madrimov had to use his feints instead of a jab. He had to use feints and upper body movement to get in and land a lead right hand on Crawford or a lead left hook. So Crawford really, I like Crawford's decision to fight full southpaw, because I think it would have been a problem if he didn't, because then Madrimov would have been able to get off more combinations like he usually does on other opponents. So yeah, that'd be the only thing I would say, is he really took the jab away from Madrimov, so he did that better than I thought he would. But on the other side, I feel like Madrimov shut down Crawford's offense more than any other opponent has in a long time, since ever. But I kind of expected that, so I wasn't too surprised about that. I was just more surprised about he pretty much took away Madrimov's jab, and I think that was key to Crawford getting the victory in a lot, and to winning a lot of his rounds, was controlling with the jab. Even though, see, this fight was so hard to score, guys. Like, it reminds me of Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. That fight was so hard to score because you got two of the best world class boxers going at it, and there's very little differences between their skill level. So you're going to get such a competitive fight. And that's what happened here. So I know a lot of casuals will think, oh, boring fight. I like the fight, though. Or they'll say, oh, like, we don't want to see that, or whatever. They won't understand, really, that, like, because if you look at all Crawford's other fights, he's knocked out 11 straight opponents, and he usually starts getting very aggressive, exciting, knocks the guy out. Couldn't happen here. And then usually Madrimov is more exciting, too. He usually goes head-body combinations. A lot of more combinations Madrimov throws. He wasn't doing that here. He was throwing one shots at a time usually. And that's because both guys were neutralizing each other from doing what they regularly do. And that's why the excitement and the offense got taken away more. But it was still like a chess match. It was still fun to watch, in my opinion. So yeah, guys. And a lot of people are going to be hating on Crawford, be like, oh, he's not ready for Canelo. I'll talk about that in another video. But my opinion, guys, is give him some credit for beating Madrimov. Madrimov is no joke. And the thing is, oh, if he can't beat Madrimov at 154, how is he going to beat Canelo at 168? See, when I say that, and on paper, it sounds like it's daunting. But when you actually look at it, Canelo's not in his prime anymore. He's not the same guy. Madrimov is in his prime. And for all we know, Madrimov could beat Canelo. Madrimov has the style to give Canelo a lot of problems. He is like a Triple G / Dimitri Bivol hybrid. So we shouldn't look at it like, oh, if you can't beat a 154-pounder, how he's going to be a 168-pounder. We shouldn't look at it like that. We should look at it like, would Madrimov give Canelo problems? And Madrimov is not a small 154-pounder. He actually used to fight at a higher weight in the amateur system, I'm pretty sure. I think middleweight. So he's not a small guy, and ask yourself this, would Madrimov give Canelo problems? And if so, yes, then there you go. And styles make fights too, guys. So I still believe Crawford can beat Canelo. Just, I don't think he can... I don't think it's is 100% certain, in my opinion. Like, I made a video before the fight saying if Crawford were to knock out Madrimov, that would seal the deal for me saying he would beat Canelo 100% of the time. But he couldn't knock him out, so sure, his percentage of winning has went down in my mind, but I still think he can beat Canelo. Stylistically, I think he will have an easier time with Canelo than Madrimov. And but there's other problems of Canelo. Canelo is explosive. He has a different style, so we won't know. But if you ask me, I think he does. Crawford's style does better with Canelo's style, and that's why I think the fight should still happen. And I still believe Crawford can beat Canelo. I would actually put Crawford to beat Canelo. But let's go to the actual fight itself, guys. Who did I have winning and all that? Did I score round by round? Now, I wasn't writing it down, so I don't have a scorecard on a piece of paper, but I was kind of just like mentally like keeping track. I was kind of like, who won that round? And then I think round 10 came around, and I came to the conclusion like, this fight's a draw, because I don't know who's going to win this. And I said to myself, if there was going to be an excuse for a judge this time, this would be the kind of fight. Because it was so hard to score what you were looking for. So I couldn't really hate on the judges. Then again, guys, I wasn't writing it down like they are and keeping track. I was just, keeping a mental track. But if the judges ever had an excuse to have a bad scorecard, this would be the fight to have a bad scorecard. Because after round 10, I was like, wow, I'm just going to say it's a draw. And whoever takes the last 2 rounds will win, I said. Because I can't pick a winner after 10 rounds. I couldn't pick a winner. And the first couple rounds, you could Crawford, Madrimov. And then it seemed like the middle rounds came around. After round 6. And it seemed like Madrimov started taking a bit of control. And then I think some of the really early rounds, I think I was giving to Crawford because of the activity. And I think the punch tats did kind of, you can't always go by compybacks, guys, but in my opinion, they were kind of accurate from what I was seeing. In the sense that I feel like Crawford was winning rounds because he was way more active, even though he wasn't landing super clean. he was landing shots in a lot. There was a lot of block shots, right? By both guys. Both guys had really good defense. But the fact that Crawford was landing or was throwing a lot more, I mean, I swayed to him winning the round more because of that. And I know a lot of you guys will say, oh, but he wasn't really landing, right? He was hitting the gloves or whatever. But the thing is, if both guys throw, like if one guy throws like 30 punches and lands 10, and the other guy throws 5 punches and lands all 5, I'm still gonna pick the guy who landed 10, right? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I was seeing that a little bit. But then you could see the other way where Madrimov's shots were way more heavy. Like, you can definitely see that Crawford was struggling with the strength and the power of Madrimov. He wasn't as comfortable as he usually is, which, like, is expected. Me going into the fight, I expected that. He had that really thudding power. Like, you could hear his shots. It reminds me of when Triple G would land a shot, even when he would land on Crawford's gloves. You could hear the thud. Like, even if Crawford blocked it, some of the punch would get through. That's how heavy the shots were. So, I thought that Madrimov was winning the rounds just on his... He had really good power shots, clean power shots. Even the ones that were blocked were sneaking through too. The lead left hooks and the right hand was key for him. Guys. So the rounds that Madrimov was winning was the power shots, the right hand, and both guys had very good counter punching. In the rounds that Crawford was winning, it was the activity, and it was the jab. Crawford's jab, his southpaw jab, was like, without that, he definitely would have lost the fight. That was key for him to keep the distance and the rhythm he had. Whereas Madrimov, he had to rely on his feints and his upper body movement to keep his distance and his rhythm instead of the jab. So, yeah, but as the fights started getting, like I said, as the middle round started happening, Madrimov started to affect Crawford more with his power shots. If you had to pick whose shots were having more of an effect, it was definitely Madrimov's shots. They were definitely heavier. You could see the apparent strength difference, or the power difference in their shots. The heavier hands were definitely Madrimov. Not to say that Crawford did land a couple really good shots that definitely hurt Madrimov, got his attention, and did rock him. But overall, I would say on majority of the power shots were Madrimov was more effective than Crawford's power shots. But yeah, the jab, like I said, of Crawford, he had better body punching than Madrimov did. Yeah, it was a good high level chess match, guys. And so, like I said, when round 10 came around, I was like, wow, I don't even know anymore. I just said this is going to be a draw. Because I didn't think either man could really take initiative in the last 2 rounds. But whoever did, I said would win the fight if they could win those. And I had Crawford win the fight, guys. I had it 115, 113. That's a good scorecard. That would probably be my scorecard. But like I said, I wasn't writing it down, guys. That's just what I got from it. Because I had it... I mean, maybe if I wrote it down, I would have Madrimov winning by a point. Who knows? Maybe I had Crawford winning by only 1 point. I don't know. Because I didn't write it down. But the feeling going in, it was so close that someone had to pull those last championship rounds to win the fight, in my opinion, to gain the majority of the fans on their side. And I felt like Crawford turned it up. He started letting his hands go more. And that's why I picked him. That's why I thought he won. Because I was starting to lead more towards Madrimov. I'm not going to lie, even though I thought this is probably going to be a draw because Madrimov was coming on strong. But then those last 2 rounds is what really... Crawford landed very good uppercuts, I remember. And the thing is, he pushed the initiative. He got more aggressive, and he turned it... He went into a higher gear. Maybe not for the whole round, but for a little bit in pieces of those of 11 and 12, I'm pretty sure. And I feel like that just showed he wanted it more. And the problem with Madrimov, why he lost this fight, in my opinion, is because, and like I said, guys, I got to go back. If I have to go back and score it again, I will. Maybe I'll see. But I don't, like, this is just what I'm seeing for the first time. I thought that Madrimov stayed in the same gear relatively for the whole fight, which was good. It was comfortable for him, and he was successful. But the thing is, when the championship rounds came around, Crawford he put out more output. He started throwing even more shots. He pushed the initiative more in those championship rounds, and that's why I gave it to Crawford. That's pretty much it. Because if he didn't do that, I probably would have said a draw or Madrimov won, right? If he didn't push it, but he did. So Eddie Hearn, I thought he was kind of a sore loser. I know that's your guy, Madrimov, but Eddie Hearn can be a kind of a sore loser in my opinion, because he said the scorecards, which he got it wrong. He thought two of the judges had it 116 to 112, which I don't agree with that scorecard. I do agree with Eddie there, but that was only one of the judges. Two of the judges had it 115, 113. That's not bad. That's not a bad scorecard. That's not a robbery. And even the 116, 112, we've seen a lot worse in boxing than that. That's not that bad compared to the other decisions we get. But two of the judges had it 115, 113. So that's not like one. If that means just Madrimov won round 12, it would have been a draw. So does it deserve a rematch? Yes. Will it get one? Probably not. I don't think there's enough money involved. People don't know Madrimov. I think Crawford's going to want to chase a bigger money fight with a more well-known opponent, like a Sebastian Fundora, or I don't know. They're saying Virgil Ortiz. There's the Canelo fight still. But yeah, I definitely think it deserves a rematch. I just don't think I don't think Madrimov will get it. But who knows? Maybe if Turki Al-Sheikh puts up enough money, he'll give him it. I don't know. I just don't see that, even though it's deserving of it, right? But yeah, guys. For the scorecards, I thought they were decent. Like I said, I don't know. Eddie Hearn was getting a little too sore loser there, dramatic there. But let me know what you guys thought about the fight. Who did you have winning? I just thought it was a high level fight, and it's if you look at the punch stats too, and like I said, you can't go by CompuBox, but I gotta say, they seem accurate to me from what I was seeing. One guy was throwing more, was more active, and had a really good jab, good body work. The other guy had better power punching, and was more conservative with his shots, wasn't really throwing the jab as much, so wasn't throwing as much, but was landing pretty much the same. Where one guy's power shots had more of effect, but the other guy, he had the jab, right? So it equaled out, in my opinion. So even though Madrimov had the better accuracy, and they both landed around the same, you got to score it round by round too, guys. So yeah, guys, I really hope it does get a rematch, but I don't know if it'll happen. But for those of you guys who said because there's haters now saying that Crawford will never beat Canelo, and I know Ryan Garcia took to Twitter, of course, and he said that Canelo will easily beat this guy. He'll have fun with this guy. I don't know. He said something like that. Something to the lines of Canelo will pretty much easily beat Crawford, which I don't think that's the case. And I know Ryan's just says stuff like that. He's trying to get under Crawford's skin, So I don't know if he truly believes that. Maybe he does. I know a lot of people maybe do believe that, so I'm not saying Ryan's lying or if he's just trolling. Maybe he does believe that, but I just think that styles make fights, and Madrimov could possibly beat Canelo. I know some of you are going to be like, oh no, that's crazy. Styles make fight, guys. Styles makes fights, and Madrimov isn't small. So, and Crawford, like I said, he might have an easier time with Canelo than he did Madrimov. That's my belief. So I still want to see that fight. I want to see greatness, guys. So I just think Canelo won't want that fight unless they pay him a lot of money, because he knows it's a dangerous fight. You know what I mean? Just like he knows Benavidez is a dangerous fight, he knows to be honest, in his mind, he knows that Crawford is even more dangerous than Benavidez in the sense that he doesn't get as much credit for beating Crawford as he would David Benavidez. So I see Canelo steering clear away of Crawford. He doesn't want to fight Crawford. That's my opinion. But maybe the money's right and he'll do it. I don't know. He's fighting Berlanga. But, yeah, guy, it was a high level chess match. I enjoyed it. Very hard to score. But I just thought Crawford showed that he wanted it. And that's the problem with Madrimov. He didn't go to a different pace. Like I said, his pace was working. He was winning rounds. It was good for him. But he didn't raise his level and his work rate when he needed to in those last 2 rounds where Crawford did. And that's what won the fight for Crawford for me. But obviously, if the scorecard said a draw, I would be okay with that. If they said Madrimov won by 1 point or 2 points, I wouldn't say that's a robbery. I'd be okay with it. But I do believe the right man won in Crawford from what I've seen. Like I said, guys, it was such a close fight. I could see it could have went either way. So I don't have a problem with any of that. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion on it. For the other fights, I was totally wrong about Jared Anderson. I actually fell asleep, so I didn't see the fight. I gotta go back and watch it. But I seen the headlines. He got knocked out. Now, to my credit, guys, I did say I know shit about boxing, but the thing is, I knew nothing about Bacall. So to my credit, I knew nothing about Bacall, and I admitted it in one of my videos, saying I haven't seen much, and I didn't have time to really go back and watch tape on them. So I was just picking Jared Anderson because I know him and I've seen many of his fights. So I was just going with the guy I knew. But a lot of you guys were saying Bacall, and credit to you guys, right? Maybe if I watched Bacall, I would have seen the same thing because I knew Jared Anderson had holes in his game and his defense, right? He's still a young guy learning. Andy Ruiz, Jared Anderson. Again, I was still sleeping. I fell asleep, guys. I was tired. I woke up. It was like around 10 or 11. But a lot of people saying that Jarrell got robbed. Big Baby Miller got robbed. So I got to go back and watch that. But from the highlights I did see the highlights of that one. It looked like it was give and take. It looked like Andy was landing vicious combinations on him early or something. So I have to go back and watch that one. And for the Pitbull-Rayo fight, I told you guys I knew it was going to be a good fight and it's going to be a competitive fight. But I did pick Pitbull because I thought the durability of Pitbull would overcome Rayo. I thought that Valenzuela would eventually get broken down by Pitbull's pressure and he would start to take control. But no, I was wrong. Rayo fully sustained it for a whole 12 rounds and won the fight. So, yeah, I say I was wrong there, but I knew it was going to be a competitive fight if Rayo could take the shots at Pitbull and the pressure, which he did. He neutralized it. And I was right on the money for the Terence Crawford Madrimov fight. That's exactly how I thought it was going to go, guys. And credit to Crawford. People aren't going to give him credit because no one knew Madrimov. The casual's going to shit on it. The hater's going to hate on Canelo. But this is probably one of Crawford's best wins, if not his best win, guys. This guy is a high pedigree guy. People don't understand. He only had 10 fights, but he had hundreds of amateur fights. This guy was no joke. So, yeah, guys, he deserves a lot of credit, and he deserves that Canelo fight still. I still believe he can beat Canelo. And styles make fights, and Madrimov is very tricky. And Canelo just has a totally different style. And I could see Crawford doing what Mayweather did to Canelo. And I know Canelo's a lot better than he was when he fought Mayweather, but he's also starting to regress again, as in wear and tear on the body. So you got to have that in mind too, right? Now, if this was Canelo maybe three to 5 years ago, it'd be a tough time maybe tougher for Crawford. But then again, Crawford would be younger, right? So yeah, so my scorecard, guys, 115, 113. I thought that was good. Madrimov, respect. Crawford, respect. High level stuff, guys. This is Triple J Boxing. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.